David Rosenhan conducted an experiment in 1973 called Being Sane in Insane Places. In the first part of the experiment, David Rosenhan used 3 sane women and 5 sane men who pretended to have hallucinations so that they would be admitted into psychiatric hospitals in 5 different states. Shortly after being admitted, the patients went back to their normal selves and told the staff that they felt better. The staff never found out that they were faking and reported that every patient had an ongoing mental illness. The institutions keeping the patients kept many of them for months and forced the patients into admitting that they had a mental disorder and made them take drugs if they wanted to be released. A hospital that had found out about Rosenhan's experiment proposed a challenge to him. The hospital asked Rosenhan to send fake patients that would then be evaluated by the staff. Over the next few weeks, 193 new patients were evaluated. 41 were detected as faking, and 19 received suspicion from at least one psychiatrist and one staff member. However, there was a catch. Rosenhan had never actually sent any patients, proving that the evaluation system in mental hospitals were flawed. While living in these institutions, it was observed that mentally ill patients will never be treated the same as those on the outside. According to a post published in a magazine called Science, an unnamed psychologist states, quote, "A broken leg does not threaten the observer, but a crazy schizophrenic? There is by now evidence that attitudes towards the mentally ill are characterized by fear, hostility, aloofness, suspicion, and dread." End quote. Negative attitudes can always be detected and further offset patients. What was most evident from this experiment was powerlessness and depersonalization within an institution. One of Rosenhan's biggest criticisms came from a man named Robert Spitzer in 1975. He claimed, quote, "If I were to drink a quart of blood and concealing what I had done, come to the emergency room of any hospital vomiting blood, the behavior of the staff would be quite predictable. If they labeled and treated me as having a peptic ulcer, I doubt I could argue convincingly that medical science does not know how to diagnose that condition." End quote. Later, Spitzer played an important role in making the DSM-IV more rigorous and reliable. The next topic is labels and the effect they have on people's lives.
Come in. Hi, I'm your psychologist, and I already diagnosed you by watching you in the waiting room. And I need to place these on you so everyone is aware of the dangers.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, thanks. See you back next week.
Okay.
Come in.
Hi.
Congrats. After a long process, you are finally better.
Thank you for helping me.
You're welcome.
Hey, best friend.
Hey,
What's wrong?
why are you so happy?
I always am. It's a good day.
Oh, are you sure you're okay? You're not lying?
Yeah.
Oh. So tell me about things. How have you been feeling lately? Any troubles?
Okay, what's really going on? Why are you asking so many questions?
Nothing, just wondering. Checking up on you.
Well, I'm fine, thanks. I'll see you later.
Okay.
As shown in the previous scenes, it was obvious that my labels still remained even after the psychiatrist said that I had gotten better. Professor Thomas J. Sheff claims mental illness is manifested solely as a result of social influence. Society views certain actions as deviant, and in order to understand these actions, often place the label of mental illness on those who exhibit them. Expectations are then placed on them, and over time they will unconsciously change their behavior to fill them. If you tell someone something over and over again, they will eventually believe you. Peggy Thwaites, who works with Indiana University in the Department of Sociology, published an article titled Sociological Approaches to Mental Illnesses. In this article, she says, quote, "People who are labeled as mentally ill are stereotypically portrayed as unpredictable, dangerous, and unable to care for themselves." End quote. A medical record is not like a criminal record. It is never cleared. What goes in your medical record remains there for the entire duration of your life. Therefore, some people will always have mentally ill in their record. All of this makes it difficult for those people to get high-end jobs, and they are constantly looked down upon and feared. The final segment of my film is on psychosurgery. First is some history on psychosurgery. Scientists have traced psychosurgery back to 2000 BC. However, the first actual report of surgery was traced to a mental asylum in Switzerland led by Gottlieb Burckhardt, who in 1890 removed parts of the cerebral cortex. It was supposed to lessen the degree of excitability, but just gave the patient seizures, so he was instructed to stop. Next is some background. Psychosurgery has always been a controversial field. As it developed, many countries dropped it, but the US and UK used it on patients with depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, schizophrenia, and addiction. During the surgery, they go in and small pieces of the brain are removed or destroyed, which causes risks of seizure, decreased drive and initiative, weight gain, and cognitive problems. Today, doctors have switched to DBS, also called deep brain stimulation, where the aim is to stimulate areas of the brain with implanted electrodes. In the US, the amount of psychosurgery has declined the last 30 years, almost to a halt. Australia and New Zealand have had zero since the year 2000. It is still not regulated in China and can be used freely. We have led away from psychosurgery due to its many complications and the suspicion of it being inhumane. We have come out with better technology and better medicines so that the need for these surgeries are very minimal.